Hey guys, I'm Hema,
And I'm Lindsay.
and welcome back to our podcast.
Yeah, so I would ask you how your week is, but same as every week, I already know.
I know we need to one day take just a week off from communication and see
That's
see what
tough.
happens.
That's tough. I hit you up like every day with what I'm doing. That's hard.
I know it's like we take hey, what are you eating for lunch? Here's what I'm eating for
What are
lunch.
you getting for dinner tonight? What are you doing? You want a video game?
You want to go? You want to hop on Fall Guys? Let's do this. Oh my god, that would be fucking hard, but we need to try it and see what
Oh
happens.
God, a whole week? I mean, we can try
Can
and then
you,
go
im-
on a
can you
tangent.
imagine? Can you imagine the stories we would have on Saturday to fucking talk about? That's
That's
all we would talk about in our podcast is just an hour long of us talking about what we did that week.
This is true. Um, I mean, yeah, but for the sake of telling everybody else, I guess my week's pretty uneventful. We're still pretty much in quarantine. I mean, I go out to the grocery store and Target
True.
occasionally, but other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it. So,
Yeah, my mom's birthday was this past weekend, so again, we didn't really go anywhere. We ordered some takeout and just had some family time, and then I worked again because I still work full time. Haha, fun
yay.
stuff, guys.
Yep.
Didn't really do much. Yeah, this week is kind of uneventful. And then, some life things happened at work too, which weren't the best, and so that put a damper on everybody's soul, I guess. But
Mhm.
a new week is coming, so let's see. It's a 3-day weekend for a bunch of us. So hey,
Every day is a weekend for me right now. So, hey.
hey.
um,
Oh
but
gosh.
yeah, not really a lot going on. I mean, next weekend I'm going to Houston just for the
Oh
weekend.
hey.
Hey, to check out some museums, look at downtown Houston. I've never been. I've only driven through it, like when I'm going to Galveston, but that'll be fun to get away for a little bit.
You guys are still going to that one lagoon, or no? You changed plans, right?
Yeah, so yeah, there's this lagoon that's over near Houston, I guess, or an hour away or something like that. And it's supposed to be this real clear water and sand, and it's brand new, and they just finished building it like last month. But apparently the reviews are really bad, and we didn't notice until we already booked it. And you don't get a refund, and it's like $20 for like 3 hours. So I don't know. We're either gonna take it as a loss, or we're gonna go and just walk around and check it out. People are saying it's like no more than 3 feet deep. So, and I'm like close to 6 feet tall. Not exactly that's dramatic for people who don't know me. Like I'm not literally 6 feet. I'm like 5'8". But
I mean, yeah, if it's like a place where you're just walking on water basically, I don't know about that. I mean, maybe it's good for like little kids, but
yeah.
I don't know.
So
There's a lot of things to do in Houston though. So, I'm pretty sure you guys will find something to do. Or just hit up Galveston again. Fuck it.
I mean, we thought about it because it's only like an extra, I think, hour or something away. So
Mhm.
I mean, maybe, but it's kind of harder because I'm going with my brothers and my brother's new girlfriend, and my brother works right now, so he can't really take like time off. He's already taken Friday and Saturday, so he can't just be like, "Oh, let's just go for a few more days" or something like that. He
Oh, yeah.
can only have the weekend. So
Well, you know where you do have to go?
what's that?
Buc-ee's.
Y'all, if y'all don't know, Bucky's is like an obsession for Hema and I. I
It
love
is
Bucky's.
it is such an obsession for me. Like I want to say it's right under Target now.
No,
Um
Bucky's is above Target for me.
It's it's just, man, if you're not from Texas, you are definitely missing out
Oh,
on
that's
this
for sure.
beautiful, beautiful place.
Definitely look it up. It's like best way to describe it is it's this ginormous, pretty much like gas station, but it has like 500 restroom stalls and just food. It has like a fudge station and a barbecue station and just any kind of drink you can imagine, pretty much. And of course, like the mascot, the beaver. So he's like on everything. Get shirts, merchandise, Little stuffed beavers, they're so cute.
It is definitely, like, the best, like, what's it called? Like, rest stop if you're going, like, on a vacation or whatever, or just, like, on a road trip. It's the best place to stop at. Again, yeah, there's food, there's loads of snacks, there's
Hmm.
clothes, which I need to post on Instagram so you guys can see my collection
Oh yeah,
of Bucky shirts that I have. It's kind of insane. That's all I wear, especially
same.
now during quarantine. Um, oh my god, it's the best. And yeah, their barbecue sandwiches are definitely on my top 5. They're so bomb.
Oh yeah, I think your collection. Well, not I think. I know that your collection is much bigger than mine. I think I only have like 10 Bucky shirts right now. But that's because I only just started collecting them like last year. So,
I think I'm really close to the 30 range. I'm not even gonna
ooh.
lie. It's getting up there. And I still have the urge to go now just because of their Halloween merch. I'm pretty sure it's already out.
Well, yeah. Oh, of course. I mean, it's September. Yeah, it's out. So next weekend when we go, I'm gonna come back with. I want to say I'll come back probably 3 or 4 shirts because I think we're gonna stop at 2 different Buckies. There's like 2 on the way, and I
Mhm.
can't pass up a Bucky's. Like if we pass one and then we just saw one like an hour ago, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go to the next one. That's just how it is. So
Hell yeah. And you have like the shirts that are like from that store, right? You know how
yeah.
like Bucky's Denton has like a Denton shirt and then
Well,
Bucky's Fort Worth has a Fort Worth shirt. You need to get those.
I do kind of regret that because I haven't gotten one for each city that I was in on our last trip that we took. I think that was, yeah, when we went to Galveston, we went through Ennis, Texas, and I got an Ennis shirt is maroon, and I love that color. Um, but yeah, other than that, all my other shirts are just ones with just a beaver on it and different sayings on the back. But I need to start getting them, yeah, with the cities.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You need to get on it.
I know. Maybe this next trip, I will faux show.
I hope you guys had a great week too. Hopefully it was more eventful than ours, but I know we're all in quarantine. So what all can we do, right? Ooh, the new Mulan came out this weekend. So I don't know if you guys
Oh,
are into that. I'm not a fan of the live action Disney movies at all. I'm very like OG, like the cartoons were the best. But I didn't hear good reviews on this one. It's not looking too good for Mulan,
uh,
especially since people have to pay $30 on top of their subscription fee.
that's
People aren't
insane.
happy about that.
Yeah, no, I haven't read any reviews, but I keep seeing the trailer pop up like on Instagram and Facebook, and it looks good. And I'm normally not a fan, like you said, of the live action Disney movies, but it does look good. So, but I'm not going to pay $30 to watch it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be like streamable for free until December. So people are like, I'll see you in December, Mulan.
Oh yeah, I'll wait.
But
All
the
right.
thing that, like, tore me off of it from the get-go is that they strayed away completely from the animated one, and then there's no Mushu, guys.
Yeah, no.
How are you gonna make a Mulan with no Mushu? Like, the fuck is wrong with you, Disney? Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, no
Now, my
Mushu.
husband
Mm-mm.
is very into, like, samurai movies, so he wants to see it, but he's like, "I'm not paying $30 to see that shit. I'll wait till it's free." I'm like, "Well, gotta do what you gotta do."
Oh yeah, the original
Sorry,
Mulan,
Disney.
right? The original Mulan is obviously it's a classic, but I also did hear that they strayed away from the soundtrack, and that's a
Yeah.
huge no-no. If that's true, and they don't have those classic songs in there
No, no, there's no musicals
at
at
all,
all in there, like,
oh
nothing. The only
girl,
thing that they brought back from the original is just Christina Aguilera.
mm,
That's it.
I can't.
And at that, I don't like this version that she sings, I don't like it. I don't know why Disney does this. First of all, why are you touching OG movies is my thing.
Yes, I agree.
Like,
Don't
stop
touch the
touching
classics.
my childhood, please, stop killing it.
And don't keep adding on to originals. You know, like for instance, you say like Shrek, and then you have like this is dramatic, but you have like 10 new Shreks like after that, and like different
Oh, yeah.
variations of like Puss in Boots and stuff. Just don't mess with the classics, man.
I know. Well, Kung Fu Panda isn't Disney. I think they're what? DreamWorks. But they also did
Oh
it with
well,
Kung Fu
whatever. But
Panda.
you know, just in
And I
general,
love Kung Fu Panda, but they also have like now like the Kung Fu Panda like show on Amazon or something. I'm
yeah.
like, okay, guys, come
When
on.
it starts going to the shows, I stop
Stop.
watching. I'm all about the movies, originals, and then after that, yeah, when you start making it into TV shows, I'm like, eh.
Uh, but I don't know. Are you guys gonna watch Mulan? Let us know how it is. I mean, I already read reviews that they're not looking too good, but maybe somebody else has a different opinion on them. I'm very, very like I critique very hard new Disney movies because I was just such the OGs were better. I'm sorry. The OG Disney back in the day, it was just 100 times better. You cannot change my mind on that. Even if you're like a youngin right now, you know damn well that movies back in the day hit differently than they do now.
Oh yeah, and Disney Channel just in general. Like I refuse to watch Disney Channel now, but back then, oh my god, Disney Channel was the shit.
I know. Ugh,
Oh man, now
yeah.
we're going on a tangent about
I
like
know.
our child.
Like 10 minutes in and we haven't even talked about our topic.
Uh,
That's okay. That's fine.
that's
That's
fine.
fine. That's fine. This is our podcast. We do what we want.
Oh yeah, we can do whatever we want. But yeah, just to like end off that is I think the people who are gonna like the new Mulan are people that probably didn't see the original. I said what I said. Mm.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I was on TikTok the other day. Yeah, I know I'm old.
Yeah.
Um, and this one youngin, I mean, yeah, she's maybe like her late teens, but she was talking about how she hadn't even seen the old school Mulan, which first of all, I was like, your parents did you wrong. But also, she was stating that she didn't like this one. Like it was too boring for her. So
Hmm.
I don't know. You guys form your own opinion. I already formed mine, and I am not going to watch it.
Hmm. Also, I think we should bring up the whole episode last week when we talked about depression, and I think some people, for lack of a better word, got it twisted a little bit.
Oh, yeah. And I'm probably just going to say this only because I don't know if it's because it's in my mind now and I see it a lot on social media, but I feel like people are using depression and anxiety as like a trend.
Hmm.
Like it's cool to have it, like you're trendy if you have depression and anxiety, and it's not a fucking trend. Nobody who actually has this illness wants it. Nobody. So it's a fucking real thing. It's an actual chemical imbalance in the brain, especially with depression. And it's not like, and I don't know if we came across it like we're being trendy or whatever, but me and Lindsay have it. We do. It's just unfortunately how our brain functions or doesn't function, I guess, because we can't function. It's a real thing, and we also didn't do that podcast to like seek attention or get pity or whatnot. We just kind of not kind of we want to spread awareness at this depression and anxiety are a real thing. Don't come at people who you think have it. Like don't I know Lindsay posted like all those posts on Instagram if you follow us on our podcast page, but I don't even know if I'm making any sense.
You're making sense. Yeah, I posted a lot of things this week on our Instagram, just kind of spreading awareness more on it. Also, we didn't bring this up, I don't think, last week on that depression episode, but September is also Suicide Prevention Month. So I've been posting on there. But yeah, it is something that's very serious. It's real. I don't like also when people say they're sad about something, like, say they're sad because quarantine sucks and they're like, I'm depressed. Don't use I'm depressed as like you being sad. Don't say that. Depression is a real thing. But yeah, I think people, and some people take it as like it's in our heads. They're just like, oh, just like get over it. And, it's all in your head or it's going to be okay. Like, don't tell us things like that because that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. And I think that's one thing that maybe in the near future we might do like a part 2 and maybe go into further detail as much as it gives us anxiety to even talk about it like in detail. It's probably needed. So we might add that in the near future as a part 2 and maybe go more in depth in that topic and hopefully maybe get our point across better than we did in our previous one.
Yeah, because I was telling Hema earlier this week that I feel like maybe we rushed it a little bit, and maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I am wrong, but I feel like we kind of jammed it all in an hour. And depression and anxiety is obviously so complex, and there's just so much more that we could say. And I don't want it to feel like it was rushed. So, yeah, we may do a part 2. I don't know.
And I mean, it could be one of those things where it doesn't only stop at part 2. We can just periodically like do an episode on mental health And maybe
True.
that way we can get our point across. But if you did understand what we were trying to say, thank you. If not, I mean, still thank you, but hopefully we can educate you more on it. It's real, guys. It's not a fun thing to have. I don't want to have depression and anxiety. Fuck that. Like I would love to wake up one day and have my brain just free of any negative thoughts, but unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way.
Yep. Well, now that we went on that 16-minute tangent,
With that said, thanks for tuning in. Well, I'm just kidding.
we'll see you next week. So, yeah, I mean, we are going to get into our topic for the day, but I apologize about the 16-minute tangent. I'm hella wired. Like, no one knows this. But I woke up this morning. I didn't get a good night's sleep. I went to bed. It was like 2:30, 3 maybe. And then I tossed and turned all night and then woke up at like 9. So it was not good for me. So I was like, let me just go get some coffee, some caffeine in my system, and then I'll just be awake enough to do this podcast. So I went and got some Starbucks, and I got a quadruple shot latte. So I'm
Yum.
just like really wired right now because I don't normally drink coffee unless I really need it. So I'm just really twitchy, and so I apologize if this podcast is just weird.
This may be all over the place, but
It may be.
just
Plus, we're just winging it. Let's be real.
also, yeah, we're trying a different style today. So let us know if this is annoying.
Yeah. So, all right. What are we going to talk about today?
Today we are talking about body shaming and how we hate it.
There is so much to say.
Gosh, I feel like in today's society, for sure, we are very, very, very judgy people to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we mentioned last week in we went off on a little like bullying tangent that people just need to mind their own motherfucking business when it comes to worrying about what other people are doing or more importantly, how people look. I just never understand why people have the need to nitpick other people's body or what they wear. I don't get it. I feel like everybody in their lifetime has experienced it. I don't, if you haven't, geez, you're lucky as heck.
I know that's right.
I've been picked on my body ever since I was a little girl, which thanks, guys, for the trauma. I'll say this about myself. I also, on top of having fucking anxiety, and it might tie into it, but I also have what's called body dysmorphia, which is yeah, it's the same as anxiety, except oh man, it just you get in your head so much because with this, all you're thinking about in your head is how ugly you look. And also, let me preface this before I say anything else. I am not doing this to fish out compliments, also, or for pity, or for you to come at me and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You're so pretty. Like, as grateful as I am, if you were to send me that, don't. I'm not asking for that.
Yeah.
I'm just wanting you to understand how it feels like to get picked on for how you look like. I suffer from body dysmorphia. I don't like the way I look. I don't love myself. I have no self confidence at all. My self esteem has been at a low for decades now. It's just something that has followed me since I barely was even a teenager. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to even go out and enjoy sometimes just a night out with the girls because sometimes I'll get in my head and I'm just thinking, God, I must look fucking disgusting right now with what I'm wearing. And even that, when I'm picking out something to wear, it takes me a very, very long time to actually stick to one outfit before I actually walk out of the door. Like it is a fucking struggle because all I'm thinking is, okay, these pants fit me kind of tight and now I have a roll sticking out. Let me change. Or I put on this t-shirt and maybe the sleeves are a little too short and I'm like, oh my God, my arms look fucking huge. It's something that I've been dealing with for a very, very long time and I hate it. And that's also a part why I would love to go to therapy and get something for me to stop thinking that way because I can't help it. It's just what I think about on the daily. Even today, like when I went to go get my coffee, like I don't have any makeup on right now. I just have my hair up in a bun, and it's crazy how the first thing you think about when you're pulling up to the window to get your food is stick your neck out so they don't see your double chin. Like, that's literally what I think about on the daily, is little things like that. Stick
Mhm.
your neck out, suck your stomach in, keep going.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I did the same thing today when I went to go pick up my coffee. I was gonna go to the Starbucks that was down the road, go through the line, but the line was out to the street. So then I had to go to a Starbucks that was inside of a super Target, and I didn't want to do that because I wasn't, in my eyes, dressed for that. I was just wearing some shorts and a tank top, and I don't like my body. I'm fat. So, and I'll say that openly, I am. And so I went inside and I remember standing there waiting for my coffee and I was thinking about my stomach the whole time. I was thinking, oh my God, like people that are walking by, like this is legit. I was thinking as people are walking by and looking at me that they were thinking, oh my God, like she's fat. Like why would she wear that tank top? I swear.
It's crazy how deep down we're saying, like, I don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks, but we do. Like, it's still underlining, like it's still like in there. Like, our vibe is still thrown off because we're thinking this person must think I'm a friggin' whale, and it's not the case at all. But that also goes to say, like, God, like, what did we do wrong in this society to be so mind fucked? I don't get it.
I mean, it's people's expectations over the years. It's the, what's the word? I'm always struggling to find the word. It's like expectation isn't it, but
What is, right? Yeah, is
I
their
mean,
expectation.
yeah, but I feel like there's another word for it. But it's like
We'll think about it towards the end.
I know probably. I know what I'm trying to say, but it's just like what people expect you to be. It's gonna bug me, but I know what I'm trying to say. Okay, and it's Hollywood's expectation. It's just people in general. Like you have to look good, and you have to be skinny, and you have to have the thighs, and the big butt, and it's just this. I don't know. It's this criteria that people, I don't know, we put on each other. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it.
If you truly, truly believe that the way people look in Hollywood, like, are real, like that's how people should look, like, you that to me, that's just ignorant. That's ignorant as heck. That's not real. Like,
Hmm.
do you know how much editing people do to get to how you see it on TV or in pictures?
Oh yeah, like
It's
on
nothing but
magazines.
editing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
all that.
It's
Yeah, the
nothing but
airbrushing
editing.
or whatever you call it. Yeah, that they make these women look tight and there's no lines and like that's all.
There's no lines, there's no
Yeah.
hair, like,
Hmm.
they're sitting down and there's no rolls, and it's like, no, they're editing the shit out of that. Like, a real woman or a real human being has texture in their skin. It's just how it is. We all have it.
Hmm.
Um we all anybody, even like the skinniest person, can sit down and they'll have like a tummy roll. It's just how it is. Like, obviously we're gonna have a stomach. How else are our organs gonna stay inside of our body? No woman looks like they do in the magazines. Nobody, not even Beyonce, guys, and I fucking love her. She doesn't look like she looks in the pictures. She looks like a real woman. It's just how it is.
Yeah, and you notice like if you ever do see, like say for instance like maybe TMZ, they catch these actors or actresses or someone in entertainment and they catch them out on the street and they don't have makeup and their hair is in a bun or they look quote unquote a mess. You know how people will go off on them like, "Oh my gosh, they look ugly," or "Why do they
We're
look like
ragging on
that?"
them.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like that's because that's them and that's everyday life, guys. That's normal. Something that like really that bugs me that I didn't even really start thinking about until yesterday when I was thinking about doing this podcast is, have you noticed that when there are like there isn't really a lot of big women or men in Hollywood, but when there is, they're made to be like these dumb people, they're made to look like they're in funny roles, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you
No, yeah,
say
I
like
totally get
like
what you mean.
Rebel Wilson or Melissa McCarthy or Seth Rogen or what's his name Jonah Hill. They're always in these like dumb funny movies, like they play like that fat friend. You know what I mean?
And have you noticed that all the people that you just mentioned have also lost a lot of weight? And I'm
They
pretty sure
have.
those are because of the pressures of
Hmm.
Hollywood.
Yep. Yeah, because probably a lot of people, tell them they should, and maybe it gets to them, but other times it's because Hollywood tells them they need to, or maybe they need to get a certain role and they're not going to give it to them unless they
Yeah.
lose weight. And
Or
that's
they're
just
tired of doing those fucking comedic roles because they wanna be
exactly.
taken seriously.
Yes, yes, girl, preach it. Yes, I feel like they're not taken seriously. Like when you think of those people right now, I'm sure you laughed. You're like, oh yeah, like they're funny. But that's the point, is that they're more than just, comedians in these movies. Like they're people, and they should be taken seriously as well, and be able to get those serious roles in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know,
But I mean, I don't even know, girl. I don't know if we're ever gonna get to that point where we'll have like a plus size like drama movie, you know? I wish that'd be awesome. Think about all like the young kids out there who like struggle also with weight issues, how like inspired they would be if they see that. But will Hollywood do it? I don't think so.
it just bothers me because, like I said, they should just be taken seriously. It should be because you're quote unquote fat that you can't do certain things, and it's just, it bugs me as somebody who is
Yeah.
fat myself. You know.
And I mean, it even goes like beyond being like overweight in people's eyes. It even goes into people ragging on people for how they dress or how they do their makeup or how they do their hair or
Hmm.
what kind of purse you got. Oh, you got those shoes. Like it goes far more beyond than the weight issues, and that it's frustrating. Like I don't know how hard it is to mind your own motherfucking business, bro. Lindsay shared a video that I had showed her about this woman who, I mean, she dresses out there, but it's just her style. She has her own way of expressing her personality through clothes. And it got to her that people were bullying her for the way she was dressing, and she posted a video of her crying over how words were hurting her. And I
Hmm.
just don't get how people can be so fucking cruel.
Yeah, that broke my heart when you sent that to me yesterday. And yeah, and I immediately reposted it to Instagram.
Mhm.
I hate that. I hate seeing people cry in general, but especially at the hands of, other people being mean to them. I don't know how people can do it.
Yeah. And then they were telling her like, "Oh, I don't understand how you're married dressed like that." I was like,
Yeah, or how do
"Oh
your
my
kids think of
god."
you? Like, what? That's just, it blows my mind.
We definitely need to have like a bullying episode because a lot of this has to come from all of this comes from fucking bullies, trolls, people who have nothing better to do in their life besides nitpick on other people.
Yeah, that's true. We were gonna kind of tie it in together. We talked about it, like, should we do like bullying and body shaming in one episode? But we felt like, yeah, bullying is its whole own topic. Like, yeah, we do talk about bullies in these episodes too, but we're probably gonna do a whole segment on that because that's a whole tangent on its own.
Yeah, I know. It also goes even beyond people making fun of like people's disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh my god, I told you yesterday that I had went on a like rabbit hole of like body shaming videos on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this video going around of this girl making fun of this little girl who has a an obvious deformity, like a birth defect. I can't think of what there's a specific illness that's called, like you're just born with it, but it has to do with like how your chromosomes are um formed like in when you're in your mother's womb,
Mm-hmm.
and it does affect how your like facial structure is. And this girl had posted a video making fun of this innocent child who probably doesn't even know that their video's going around. All because it didn't fit their standards of how a little kid should look like. And that literally made me tear up because I just couldn't believe how people are so fucking hateful. Like this little girl has no control over what she looks like, and it shouldn't even fucking matter. She's a happy little kid. Can you imagine if she were to grow up, get a TikTok, and then see that shit?
I can't imagine.
That is detrimental to hear some hateful shit as a child. It stays with you forever.
Yeah, and it's harder now because obviously social media is so much bigger than it was. Like when you and I were, in school. So I know that it's got to be a lot worse for teens nowadays. I'm sure there's
Mhm.
a lot more videos and there's a lot more ways for people to bully others. So we were definitely lucky to grow up in a time where social media wasn't that big. So they didn't have those platforms like TikTok and stuff like that.
We're going to go on a little break just to decompress our rage. And we will come back and I'll tell you guys a little story about what happened to me as a kid and why I'm so broken now as an adult. Okay?
All
We'll be
right.
back. Hey y'all. I wanted to take a quick minute to talk to you guys about Anchor, the app we're currently using right now to create this podcast. One of the best things that I love about Anchor is that not only can you record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, it is absolutely free to use. Not only that, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. And guess what? You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's literally everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So get to it. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Happy podcasting. And we're back, guys. Hello.
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 So jumping right back into it.
That was actually one of our shortest breaks. I mean, for me and you, I know for the peeps, it's like a minute. But for
Yeah, they're
us, it was
like,
kind
yeah,
of
that
short.
was really quick, guys. Like,
For you guys, it's been a minute. For us, what was like 10 minutes maybe?
if even.
If even, yeah.
Usually we munch, but we didn't munch this time. I'm just full on caffeine and water right now. So
I know I gave you guys a little teaser before the break that I was going to tell you guys a little story about what happened to me when I was a youngin' that has continued to linger in my brain many, many, many years now. Okay, so it's a pretty short little guy. So I
the
won't.
guy that made fun of you was a short little guy, or like,
I mean, no.
or the story.
The story's a little short little guy.
Okay, go ahead.
We're not body shaming, remember? Nobody
Yeah, I
who
was gonna
cares
say,
about
wait a
that.
minute. Look at the
I know,
title of this
no.
video.
I won't say any names and I won't say who did it, but I will say that this is somebody who you would think, I guess in my eyes, who you think, who should love you regardless, right? So I was about 13. This was during the time when my body, it wasn't having a good time. My kidneys were making me very swollen, especially around the face. And then on top of that, I'm pretty sure around that age is when my hormones started to get all wacky. And I was gaining weight. Not a lot. I was just getting a little chubby. And you can notice it more around my face, especially because of all the water retention. We were at a little gathering. I remember this very vividly. I was sitting at this little island, and this person, out of the fucking blue, just tells me, "You're never gonna get a boyfriend looking like that." I don't know what in their brain triggered to say that to a 13-year-old girl who in their fucking head didn't even think about relationships at the time. Wasn't planning on ever having a boyfriend then. Like, who the fuck cares? But he said that, and he said that in front of people who also you think would stand up and defend you, especially because you were the youngest one there, and
Oh, so
say
he even
something.
said it around other people too,
Yes,
and then no one said anything.
this was around a group. Yes, yeah, and nobody said anything. They just kind of like, oh, ha, 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 like nervous laugh, which at the
Wow.
time I think I also maybe like giggled a little bit. But what else am I supposed to fucking do at that point? I couldn't even defend myself. I didn't know what the fuck. This is a grown up. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, which sorry to butt in, but just while you're on that, that also counts as a form of bullying too. If you don't say anything at all, you're part of that bullying.
I was a kid. At 13, you're still a child. And this is during the time where I was learning to cope with the fact that my body's changing out of my control.
Hmm.
And even my parents would tell me like it's fine, Emma, like you can't help it. It's just the way it is. And for him to say that just totally took me on a spiral that lasted to this day. I believed it. I would look in the mirror and I'd look at myself and I'd be like, hell yeah, like who would want to be with this? Like I look disgusting. It's hurtful. That's why when I was talking about that girl on TikTok who was making fun of this little girl, it it irks me to my core when people make fun of little kids
Hmm.
to their face because you think, "Oh, you're young, you're either going to forget it or it just doesn't phase you." You're wrong. It does affect you and it affects you deeply.
Oh, for sure. When you're that young, you're very impressionable and your mind is like a sponge. Like you retain that stuff, that information, or those comments, and it definitely stays with you throughout the course of your life.
I stress enough to not make fun of people for how they look because you really don't know why they are the way that they are or why they look the way that they look. It
Hmm.
could be an illness that's affecting it. There's people that like are on steroids who end up gaining weight because it's just one of those side effects. People that like are going through chemo end up losing a lot of weight, and people still make fun of them for that. It's just you don't know what people are going through, so why even butt in? Why say something? They're already going through enough in their brain dealing with this fucking illness or whatever they're going through, and then you just add on to the fire.
I've been on and off like throughout the last few years going to the gym. I go through these phases, I guess, as you call it, where I'm just so gung ho on going to the gym and I'll go like 5 times a week and I'll go for a couple of hours and I just go ham in there, you know? And I love going to the gym and seeing people who are like me that are, bigger people. And I'm just like, yes, sis, or dude or whoever, in there trying to do their thing. But I'm also very self conscious too. So,
Mhm.
just if people are in the gym and you see somebody big, don't judge them and definitely don't make a comment. They're in there trying to better themselves. I remember this one time, this sticks out to me. As we say, these comments, they stick with you. This was like probably about 2 years ago. I was at the gym and I just went like hard that day. It was one of those days where I pushed myself to my limit. Like I did an extra mile on the treadmill and I did an extra mile on the exercise bike and I was feeling myself. Like I know I didn't look good, but I was feeling myself. And this random older man like approached me while I was walking to go do some legs or something. And he was just like, "Hey, I just wanted to stop you and tell you that I see you killing it out there today in the gym. And I just wanted you to know like you're doing really good." And that just made that made my week. And I still remember that comment.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So just,
There's
and
not that many people like that out in the world anymore.
yeah, and they may think it, they may think you're doing well, but they're not going to come tell you. So that's why I even said last week that sometimes it's important to just let people know, like you do see them, you acknowledge them. And if they're doing well at something, tell them, So
Mhm.
like I said, that still sticks to me. And that was a couple of years ago. I remember that guy. So my first experience with, I guess, somebody body shaming me um, was right out of high school. I was taking some classes at Richland College, and I ran into a senior classmate of mine. And I kid you not, we were walking up some stairs. I ran into her like she was coming down, and I was going up the stairs. And she just said to me, "Oh my God, Lindsay, you got fat." I swear that's exactly what she said.
Wow.
Yeah. So, um,
This bitch.
yeah, there's not much really to say about that story. There's not like some long spiel about it. It's just something that has stuck with me. And we're talking now about like maybe about 9 years ago or so. And I still remember that. I remember where we were at the college, like being on the stairs, and those words, they've stuck with me. And they still pop up every now and then. And that's before I even got to where I am now. That was me just gaining like a little bit of weight after high school. And now I've gained much more. So I wonder what she'd say about me now. But
That's what I don't get, man. Like, again, going back to when I was told those things, I wasn't like, you look at pictures now, and I wasn't even like an overweight kid. The only thing that looked a little different was my face. And that's something that was out of my fucking control. What can I do about it at 13?
yeah. So that goes to show like you don't know people's situation. It's not always just a case of like, oh, well, this person's just lazy and they just sit around, like you said earlier, like they just sit around stuffing their face all day. Sometimes maybe that's the case. And you know what? Power to you. Okay. But for some people, it's not. And sometimes it's for medical reasons. And it's not even just about being big, it goes the other way as well. There's people who are anorexic or they deal with bulimia. So it goes on both ends of the spectrum, the whole body shaming thing.
It does. That goes back to saying nobody's ever fucking satisfied. You can be, uh, you know, super thin, and people will come at you and rag on you too for being skinny. And you
Yeah.
don't know why they're like that either. They can be dealing with something much more serious and just some people just have fast metabolisms, right? There's people out
Hmm.
there who are trying to gain weight and they can't
Oh, yeah.
because they've got underlying issues. And there's people still like, oh my gosh, like guys want women with curves or your ass is too flat. Like,
I know. And I know people personally who deal with different things who are skinny. I know people who are skinny because, yeah, they have that fast metabolism and they're trying to gain weight and they do eat a lot and they just can't gain weight. And then there are people who are skinny, like that I know personally, that do have anorexia, or there's somebody that has a disease. So you just don't know why somebody is the way they are. And that's why we always emphasize, especially these last couple of weeks, to just don't be a bully. Don't judge people.
just keep your thoughts to yourself. It's not that fucking hard to keep your mouth shut. It really isn't.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, sometimes you can't help, I know, a thought pops in your head, but just keep it to your fucking self.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that I'm a saint and I've
Yeah.
never like judged anybody. I know I've been guilty of a couple of times saying to like my friends like gosh, I wish, you know, I have friends that we go on like pig out sessions, just snack snack snack, and I have a friend
Hmm.
who doesn't gain any weight and I've been guilty of telling her like you're so fucking lucky when in reality like I don't know, maybe she does have issues with being thin. I'm
Hmm.
guilty of saying that, and I try my best not to say those comments. Sometimes it's hard when you want to look the way your friends look sometimes and not to like have word vomit, but I'm just saying to like try to tone it down. Just don't be hateful over it. The amount of diets and the amount of exercise that I have done to myself over the past decade is you would think that I would be a thin girl, and it's no, it's hard, especially with having PCOS. It is fucking hard, and it is also traumatizing because you see all that you're doing and you step on the scale and it doesn't budge.
Oh, yeah. I mean, same. I've done, like you say, it feels like everything under the sun. I mean, I've just done different diets and fads and cutting out this or cutting out carbs, doing keto. Like, when I tried to do keto the end of last year, and that lasted for a little while. And then you lose a little bit of weight, and then it just like comes back, and it's just so, you don't know if people are trying. And plus, it's not your business if they are or not, but it's tough.
It's hella tough. And I know we're going on like on a little tangent about like weight issues and stuff. I mean, that is part of it, but a lot of what body shaming is just belittling people for how they dress also.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're going on a tangent, but it's because you need to know that. I mean, you don't need to know. Like I said, I don't care if you know or not, but we're trying to get the point across that you don't know what someone's dealing with, or if they're trying, or what their situation is, or if they're dealing with dysmorphia or disease or something. So just
Exactly. And I repeat the story again over what happened with the actor who played
Black Panther.
as a Black Panther, how looking at pictures now, you see that he was battling a very terrible disease. But before we even knew about this, and you go and you find like old videos of his lives that he used to do before his passing, people were ragging on him because he was too thin.
Hmm. And nobody knew that he had
And
cancer. So that's another one.
we didn't know that this poor man was dying.
Hmm.
And people were still ragging on him. There are some terrible ass human beings out there. It is insane. We were all once little cute babies
Hmm.
who had no care in the world, and how that little baby can turn into a piece of shit. But again, we didn't know he was going through that. He made movies dealing with his disease,
Hmm.
and nobody knew about it
And I
up until
saw that.
obviously.
I don't know if you saw, but he was visiting like St. Jude's Hospital, right? Like
Mhm.
he was visiting kids who have cancer while he had cancer himself and nobody knew. And he was giving
Mhm.
inspiration to them. So,
Yep.
but also kind of like changing the not changing the subject, but taking a different turn now, is I give mad props to people who have that confidence in themselves. Like, I love when I go to the pool or the beach and I see maybe somebody who's a little bigger, that's just, they do not care and they will wear that bikini, or whatever.
Yeah.
I love
Mhm.
that. I wish I had that kind of confidence. I'll be straight up. I don't wear a bikini. I mean, I shouldn't. I mean, that's just me. Like, personally, I feel like I'm not comfortable like that. But so yeah, I'll just wear like swimming trunks and a tank top, and that's just where I'm comfortable. But again, I just give mad props to anybody who can just let it out. Or same thing with men. I see them too. Maybe they're a little bigger and they don't care. They're not covering it with a t-shirt. They just let it out, and I just love that.
Right now that you mentioned men, body shaming affects men too a lot. Not I know us women have more of a high expectation of what we should look like, but
Hmm.
men suffer from it too. You know, people consider like you have to be tall, dark, and handsome to be like the ideal man, and that's not true. I know people give a lot of grief for short guys, guys who are like below average height. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't matter how tall you are.
Hmm.
It shouldn't matter how muscular you are. Nothing should fucking matter. You should be how you want to be and how you're happy with it, and people should not give a damn about it.
Yeah, so we've talked all about like weight issues mainly in this podcast, but it's not even just about weight. It's just body shaming in general, just how somebody looks. I feel like we could talk about this forever.
We really could, girl. I have no words to explain how much I hate. Like I don't want to use the word hate because I try not to like keep that in my soul, but I don't like people who belittle others. I just really don't. I don't get why you're like that. I mean, obviously no, yeah, I do get it. You're insecure yourself. You have your own issues and apparently ragging on other people makes you feel better and that's so sad. That's sad to hear, but
Yeah, because healthy, stable people are not going to bring other people down. So,
But also, like, okay, here we are, me and you, we both suffer from depression and anxiety. I have
mhm.
never, ever, ever felt the need to go on social media and be like, "Oh my God, what are you wearing? You look so ugly. Take it off."
Well, yeah,
Never.
that's true.
I am somebody who is mentally unstable, and I have never, ever in my life even thought of that thought to go on social media and go rag on somebody.
But I think it's because we also suffer though with those things like, we know that we're not perfect, and you and I don't necessarily like where we're at or our bodies. So I'm definitely not going to go rag on somebody else. And I know that I have different, issues in my head. So why am I going to go again rag on somebody else for what they're dealing with and what's in their head? So that also kind of helps. But also, I'm just not an
Exactly.
asshole. So I mean, like, it helps to not be an asshole.
If people want to dress the way they dress, let them. If dudes want to wear makeup, let them. There are some guys that I follow on my Instagram who are way better at makeup than I am. And I love that. Let them wear it. If it's not affecting your personal life, who gives a damn? If a girl wants to shave off all of her hair, let her do it.
Hmm.
Like if a guy wants to go and dye his hair blonde, let him do it. It's not hard to mind your own fucking business.
Yeah, and we're not even saying you have to necessarily like accept it. Like, that's great if you do and you accept everybody the way they are. But even if you don't, like we said, just keep it to yourself. That's
Keep it
all.
to yourself. It's not bothering you. If
Yeah,
this person doesn't actually live with you and is part of your family, it doesn't concern you. Move
exactly.
on. Keep scrolling. It's not that hard. Hide that. You can go on Instagram and actually hide that type of shit if you don't want to see it. Hide it
Yeah,
if you don't
and
want to. It's not hard.
how would you feel if somebody attacked like one of your family members or one of your friends the way that you attack other people? You know what I mean? You wouldn't want someone to do that to someone that you love and you care about. So why would you do that to somebody else?
Exactly. Guess what we're trying to get our point across is just don't be hateful. You never know what that person is dealing with. You don't know why they look the way that they look. There are diseases that cause you to gain weight. There are diseases that cause you to lose weight.
Hmm.
There are diseases that cause you to lose all your hair. People end up losing limbs over cancer. People end up losing limbs over war. People
Hmm.
are born with unfortunate deformities, and and that's okay. We all look different. That's the beauty of, being alive, is that we're all different people. Imagine if we all looked the same. How fucking boring that would be.
Right?
It should be a diverse community everywhere. It shouldn't matter how much you weigh, and it shouldn't matter how you dress, and it shouldn't matter the color of your skin. Nothing should matter, because in the inside, we are all the fucking same.
And trust me, like, you don't have to tell somebody. I mean, we're obviously saying don't tell anybody, but you don't need to tell somebody that they're fat or they're too skinny or they look like this or that, because you don't think that we know. You don't think that, like, if you come to me and you're like, oh my gosh, like, you got fat, I'm gonna be like, oh wow, right, did I? I mean, we know.
Thanks for letting me know.
Wow. Oh, I'm
I'll
missing
go
a
take care
limb.
of that right now.
Yeah, let me just, oh, let me let me get rid of that real quick, or let me put on some weight real fast because I wasn't aware I was skinny. Or trust me, we know, and we are in our heads about it, so you don't need to tell us.
I don't need the fucking reminder, thank you.
Yeah, refer back to this podcast. I know.
Again, we are not like medical professionals or anything. If you're somebody who deals with also body dysmorphia or have issues with it, and I know I'm not one to talk because I haven't gone to therapy myself, but again, there is help out there. Those same links that we put in our depression episode apply to this too. If you're having like a day where you can't stop thinking about your body or how you look, like, reach out to somebody and they can maybe help you walk through getting out of those thoughts.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll put all those links again in this. If you're watching on or listening on YouTube, then we'll put them in there. But we also put them on our other platforms. Which, speaking of other platforms, now we're on iHeartRadio. Follow us on
Oh,
Instagram, you would know.
hey.
Hey, yeah. And were you telling me yesterday
Hey.
that's like the hardest platform to get on? Apparently.
Yeah, so I know I follow this page on Facebook. It's just about podcasting. I kind of just lurk and see what people have to say. But apparently, yeah, iHeartRadio is pretty hard to get into. Just the approval process on its own takes the longest out of all the other platforms, and not everybody gets approved. So, hey,
Hey. So yeah.
we on
So
iHeartRadio.
yeah. So and we got approved for Pandora. This was like a couple weeks ago or whatever, but we didn't
Oh
really make a
yeah,
big deal about it. But now, yeah, we're on both of those, and we're going to be adding those to our links. So you can pretty much listen to us now anywhere, like YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Anchor, Pandora,
we're
iHeartRadio.
everywhere. You
We're
cannot
everywhere.
escape us.
Yeah, you can't. You're going to run into us at some point. But apparently, if you also type in two P's in a podcast on iHeartRadio, we're the third one to pop up.
But yeah, guys, I know maybe we were all over the place in this one. I'll blame the caffeine for this, but
Same.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of these serious topics that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks, we might just do um parts to it. I know I'm 100% sure when we listen to this back, Lindsay, me and you are just going to be like we had more to say.
Yeah, just like we did with
We
the
always
depression
do.
one. Yeah, we always were hard on ourselves. As soon as we hear it back, we're like, oh, I should have said this. I should have done that. So yeah, maybe we'll
Yeah.
start
And
breaking it up.
so be on the lookout for maybe like for different parts on our serious topics.
Hmm.
Uh
And if there's
it's just
something you really like, yeah, let us know.
yeah,
Voice
for
that to us.
sure. And I would love to like maybe bring somebody on the show who also has dealt with it or their experience from it
Hmm.
or how they overcame it and are now confident. I would love to also know that. I would love to be confident in how I look. That is
Oh
my
yeah.
one of my ultimate goals. That's why I started the blog/Instagram page. In reality, all I want is just to be happy. Like genuinely happy. And that's hard. But that's why I'm doing this page to kind of keep accountability for myself and also to get inspired by others who I follow on there who are also on the same journey.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. Yeah, for me too, is I just want to be just genuinely happy no matter where I am in life, just mentally, physically. And if I'm not where I want to be, I still want to be happy in that process and just not care what other people think. I'm working on it. And I have to stop thinking that I'm ever going to be where I was when I was in high school. I, like, back then, it's
Mhm.
so dumb, but I thought that I was fat, and I really wasn't. If you knew me in high school or you look back at old high school pictures, like on my old Facebook, I'm really skinny, and I had big thighs. Like, I'll say it, I had a big butt. They used to call me Wide White Girl, but it wasn't for the reason you would think in high school. That was my nickname, but it wasn't because I was fat. It was because I had these big old thighs and this skinny waist, and I would kill to have that body, but I don't think that's going to happen. And that's okay. That's okay.
High school was just a different life, man.
It was. Oh, man.
I hope we semi got our point across. I know apparently we've not been doing that correctly, but hopefully some of
Yeah.
you take it how we wanted to say it, if that makes any sense. If not, be ready for a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you
Right?
get it?
And please, like we're always saying this every week, but please message us, with anything like stories, or if this really affected you in any way, or you've dealt with any of these things in any way, just please let us know. We love hearing feedback. We love hearing from you guys. Just, yeah, let us know we're getting our point across.
And we'd love to also share your stories if you're comfortable. Again, we can
Mhm.
keep you anonymous. We don't have to put your name out there or anything, but
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're somebody who wants us to like read your story out in the podcast, please let us know. Like we promise we're not judgy people. I think I'm hoping now by like episode, what are we?
This is like
Episode
8.
8,
Yeah.
that you guys will know that we're not somebody who's going to like nitpick. We're the opposite. We're trying to build a non-toxic community.
Where
So
you can,
please send us
come
your
to us.
story.
And yeah, for sure. If you want to write something out, let us know your story. We'll read it on a podcast for sure.
Oh, for sure. If you want to even be on the podcast, hit us up and we'll make it work. If you want to say your
Mhm.
story like in your own words, hit us up. We'll make it work for sure.
Yes. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. And again, we emphasize it every podcast, but if you're not already following us on social media, you can get the most up-to-date status on what we're doing, and we interact with you guys on a daily basis on our Instagram, which is 2ps underscore and a podcast, but we always put the link in the YouTube video and on our other listening platforms, so definitely follow us there. We also give you updates during the week if we're not going to be doing an episode, or if there's a change of plans, or do little trivia and stuff like that. So again, follow us on Instagram. This coming up weekend, we may or may not be doing an episode. We may take a little break because I did mention at the beginning of this podcast that I'm going to be taking a little impromptu trip to Houston. So I will not be home to do a recording. We may do something during the middle of the week if the time permits for it. And we may have a special guest. That's just kind of up in the air right now. So, but in order to just find out what's going to be happening, or if that's going to happen, just follow us on Instagram. We'll let you guys know during the week as soon as we know. Again, we emphasize that your feedback is very important to us. So we know our podcasts, sometimes they're all over the spectrum. Sometimes they're shorter and sometimes they're longer. So please let us know if you're enjoying the longer episodes. Tell us. But if you also like the shorter episodes, let us know that too. You're not going to hurt our feelings. We understand, because I know I myself, I have a short attention span sometimes. And I know Hema said that she does too. So we do understand. And it's hard
Yes.
to break up that podcast if it's longer. So just let us know. Again, just thank you so much for listening. And hopefully, maybe, we don't know yet, we'll see you next Sunday night.
Thanks, guys.